Okay, so joining me in my garage is Inspiral Carpet, radio star, and superstar DJ, Clint Boon. Wow. Hey, man, good to see you.
Nice to see you as well, man. Nice to see your big smiley face there.
Look at that. Only a mother could love it.
Look at that. You look gorgeous. Are you having a good weekend, Thom?
I am, man. Yeah. I'm doing all we can. Just like, as you know, like these times now we're in a new lockdown. And although that is like, it's obviously nobody wants it, for creatives such as you and I, it does actually allow a little bit of space and time to like create and work. So here I am doing that with you, and here you are working with me. So thanks for being here.
No, you're welcome, man. It's been nice. And we've had a few chats recently, haven't we, about various things that are going on. So
you've been ringing me. You're my mate now. Got you in my phone. That makes me feel a bit famous that sometimes you text me.
I'm speed dial now. I'm your number one speed dial.
I'm the background on your wallpaper, I heard. Just a picture of me.
Yeah. How many celebs have you got in your phone? Do you ever count how many you've got?
I've got a few now. They're building up. Not as many as you, I bet. Who's your most famous, do you reckon?
Probably Paul Weller, I'm guessing.
Paul Weller's pretty famous. That's a good one, that. You must have Noel Gallagher, right?
No, I don't have Noel's. I've not had his number for years and years. We still get on well when we see each other, but we're not really busy mates. Like, you know, we're not living in each other's pockets like we used to do. I've got Johnny Marr's number. That's a good one, isn't it?
That is a good one. Hey, just give it me if you don't mind. What is?
Yeah. I'll put it across the bottom of this in a minute so everybody can have it.
If anyone wants to get in touch with Johnny Marr, just do it here.
It's all good, mate. I think, like you just said there, I think some of us have really enjoyed being able to just work at home. You know, I mean, my life until middle of March, my career was frantic. You know, just chaos going from gig to gig and radio show to radio show. And so I really enjoyed the peace of being at home and not having to be going out all the time. If anything, it's made me a little bit, is the word agoraphobic when you don't really want to go out?
It is the word,
I think that's the word, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got a bit like that, where I wake up in the morning and think, oh, I don't have to go anywhere today. Yeah, it's brilliant, you know what I mean? I'm doing my radio show from home.
Not wearing any pants at all, are you? I've not put pants on for about a year.
Yeah, I've got pants on, just about. I threw some tracky bottoms on in case they get any leg shots, you know what I mean?
You've made an effort.
I've had a shave, look, I've had a shave.
You look gorgeous, mate. You look very handsome.
I've even put what they call it on, antiperspirant deodorant.
You smell gorgeous, I can tell.
You smell me, yeah.
You're right, mate, because like my life was the same, like just out gigging constantly. You're out all weekend and never see my girlfriend and stuff, and just like, you know, you leave the house at about dinner time, and then you're getting home at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I miss it so much, I really do. But just to have a little bit of a break from that and a bit more of a normal schedule has been quite welcoming. But having said that, I would just dying to get out there. You're not dying to get out there and do a DJ set in front of loads of people?
I am, but probably not as many gigs as I was doing. You know, I mean, it's like I was doing that many that, like on a Saturday night, I'd be doing 2 and 3 gigs every Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, one in Blackpool, one in Bolton, then back to South Nightclub. That was like a normal Saturday night. So when you're doing that, it's you get in the rush. I think part of me sort of started to take it for granted a little bit. You know what I mean? I mean, as soon as I get in the DJ booth to get music going, I'm on it. You know, I'm just loving it. But I mean, the fact is, all the DJ work's gone. So I've had a year's worth of bookings taken away from me.
Yeah.
You know, that's a real hit for somebody who started DJing in 1975. And I've been DJing for 45 years. I've been a musician. I've been gigging.
Yeah.
And for it to all just stop, you know, it's quite a profound thing really, to have that taken away from your successful career. That was most of my income has been taken away, and because I'm a limited company, I've had zero help. You know, no grants, no compensation.
Yeah.
There's like 2 or 3 million people in that position, self-employed but limited company. So the physical thing of not being out entertaining people is a hit. The financial thing's a big hit. But what I've really embraced is the opportunity to assess where I'm going, where I was until March, and where I want to be when we start coming out at the other end of this. And do I want to get straight back on that hamster wheel of 3 gigs a night, every Friday, every Saturday? And the answer is probably not. I want to slow down a bit in that respect. I'll still go out DJing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thought of doing Kendall Calling again at the end of, you know, the next year, hopefully. You know, it's like that. I'm already excited about those moments and doing the Shine On Festival when that comes back, and hopefully getting back into South Nightclub. You know, I'm looking forward to all that. But my priority now is shifting the balance back onto making music and putting music out there. Since 20 years ago, I mean, I was a recording artist, you know, mainly. That's what I did. I was in the Inspirals. I had, you know, a solo band that I did 2 albums with. And it was like I was a full-time musician. And then some bugger offered me a job in radio, and I took it. And suddenly I became a radio presenter and club DJ. And so it's like I've been making music all through that period, through those 20 years and beyond. But it's been more like just a hobby. When I get a couple hours to spare, I'll come down here into the studio and record something. So I'm sat on a lot of music that's never been released. And I also like the idea of, you know, making new music becoming my priority, which is why I've been talking to you about the Patreon thing, which I'll be launching. Like, we've launched it this weekend. It's up there now. So that's
where everyone can hear all your tunes, right? All the stuff you've been working on. That's the platform that you're releasing to, Patreon.
I'm going to drip feed it, obviously, because the idea is I'll be making new music all the time and putting that out. And the Patreon followers will be the first ones to get it, because a lot of this stuff won't get released until maybe next year, if at all. And then I've got a lot of archive stuff that I'm going to be sharing with my followers as well. What I'm saying, this is like step one, like day one of a new chapter.
Yeah.
Which will either see me falling flat on my arse by next weekend, or it'll be, you know, 10 years from now, it'll still be what I'm doing, you know, getting up, making music, sharing it with my followers on Patreon and whoever else. So it's then exciting, really, which is, you know, for something so, you know, potentially life-changing to come out of such a dark period.
Yeah,
it's not. So it's like that's the light at the end of the tunnel for me.
Yeah, me too, man. I feel like you've got to find ways just to embrace it, haven't you? Like the only thing that we can do is like not retrain, but adapt and find these pockets of creativity and apply ourselves to it, and then just try. And that's all we're doing. We're just trying. And you've sent me. I had the pleasure of hearing a rough mix actually of one of the tunes that you've been working on. It sounds great. So like, honestly, highly recommend that. You should check that out. Anyone watching should go on Clint's Patreon and check that out, definitely. And we'll be posting a link to that in the comments right now.
Yeah, brilliant. And then the other nice thing that happened kind of accidentally was, since about 5 years ago, I've been involved with this thing called BeatStream, which is a live music streaming app. So it's not video, it's just audio, no visual.
Yeah.
And I've been helping the creator to develop that over the last 4 or 5 years. And we were due to have a big public launch back in March.
Right.
And the first gig, where you could buy a digital ticket to listen, but without being at the venue, was going to be Blossoms at the Arena.
Oh, wow.
That was going to be the launch event. So it was going to be a massive, you know, public launch. And obviously the gig got pulled like all the other gigs. So it meant that from week one of the first lockdown back in March, I've got this thing called BeatStream that I'm connected with, and I was able to start doing a DJ set. I could have done it every day if need be, but I did every Friday night. Started it back in March, and 8 till 10, called it Disco Rescue. I thought it might last a couple of weeks, and we're still doing it now. 32 weeks. We just done our 32nd week on Friday night. Me and my wife do it. My wife joined in with one night one. It's become a thing that we do. We take requests over Twitter. We get on the mic. We do shout outs. We have some proper mad conversations because we're drinking while we're doing it. And we built up a really lovely community. People like yourselves have with what you're doing. Yeah. And it's, you know, it's every Friday night, 8 till 10. And we're going to carry that on as long as we can do, because there's a demand for it. And a lot of people don't want to go out now on a Friday night and, you know, stand in a sweaty nightclub. A lot of people just like to stay at home with a bottle of wine and listen to us.
Great.
People like us talking shit.
The whole like community thing, like, as if anything, like if there's a silver lining, then it has brought the wall down between artists and their fans, and there is a sense of community now. Like, and if you look at like what Tim Burgess has been doing with his listening parties, that's like fantastic, and that's loads of people actually listening to albums at the same time, and we're actually coming together on a lot of things now, which I think is so good. And there's a lot of people doing such amazing things, you included. So, like, we just got to carry on, right? And I
think the nice thing with that is that at the other end of it all, a lot of these online communities that you've built, or that we built, they will end up getting together in venues and meeting up in a park. And you can see that with the people that follow Disco Rescue on Friday night. They all know each other now. They've had 32 weeks of meeting these people online every Friday. And they're getting requests to us from like 8 o'clock in the morning. And they're having conversations with each other about, can't wait to, you know, get on the dance floor tonight and all that. Yeah. And I know for a fact that a lot of those friendships that are just digital at the moment, at the other end of this, they'll be out hanging out together and going to gigs together. So it's really nice that we are still able to build those communities, as you said, with Tim Burgess and yourself, and Slow Readers Club are doing really well with the online side of things. So it's nice that something really positive's coming out of something that's so worrying at times,
Yeah, I suppose that where there's music, there'll always be passionate people. And it's really great to have those passionate people together. It gives them a lot. Everyone's got something in common there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been loving that side of it. We do like weekly Zoom calls and everything with people, and that's become like a real like community there. Everyone knows each other, and like we don't even have to say anything anymore. We can just go into the background. Everyone's just chatting. It's really nice.
Right.
Anyway, hadn't you done some
That's cool, isn't it?
a cow drawing for us to give away?
Yeah, the little backstory here is that because back in 1988 or 89, I designed the original Inspiral Carpets cow logo, which is like just a cow with psychedelic eyes, and often it's got a splip in its mouth.
Yeah.
And over the last 20 years particularly, when anybody's asked me to give anything for charity auctions or raffles, I've given everything away that was tangible. So I've started doing these cow canvases, that were like based on the original drawing that different Inspirals, but we'd auction them off for charity. They get like over £1,000, some of these, some of the bigger ones. And I've never done them for money, for personal gain. And then last Christmas, when we got the news that Excess Manchester was closing down, which at the time I was gutted about, because I love the job. It's great for the community, and see, it's a bit of money for the family. So I got told that was shutting down in just before Christmas. So immediately I started selling my cow art to bring a bit of extra money in to replace the radio income. So I've had that little sideline going right through the pandemic. And the good news is the radio station got saved, which came right out of the blue, because we were convinced it was going. That was it. End of March, it was shutting down. That was it. And we got the call, I think 2 weeks into March, that we've still got a job there. So, and Manchester has still got a great radio station. So all through the lockdown, I've been doing these little cow canvases and greeting cards and things like that. So I've made one for you. I've not coloured it in yet, because whoever wins it will colour it into their specification or the requirements. So at the top it says the lottery winners rock, yeah. And this will be red. I've not put anything dodgy on it in case there's any kids watching. But I can colour the shirts and the shoes in whatever the and there's a little bit here for a message if you want to Granny, I love you. Or whatever.
Amazing, yeah. So someone's going to win that on the show today. So thanks for that, Clint, man.
It's ready to hang as well. I even put my own string on the back of it, so it's ready to hang up in your. I'll tell you what, Sal, as well. You like these? I've always seen this.
Yeah.
Because when I started doing the disco rescue thing, a lot of people were listening in the backyard, because it's such a nice climate back then, and people were building bars outside, and a lot of them have these tin signs that you can get. So someday, one of the women regulars said, "Have you thought about doing Boon Army tin signs?" So I started selling these.
Oh, cool!
A metal sign. You know what I mean?
I want one of them. That looks sick. You've not aged a day, mate.
I'll send you one for all the help you give me for Patreon. I'll send you one for your man down there, your man cave.
I'll put it in.
You get them to the website where you can get all the merch and the cow art and that. Yeah, boonarmy.com.
Brilliant. Well, I tell you what, man, I'm going to let you go because I know you're a busy guy, but you can check out Clint's new music on his Patreon. Make sure you do that. boonarmy.com if you're into the merch. And yeah, just keep going, man. And honestly, on a side note, thank you so much for playing our tunes on the radio. You don't know what that means to us. When my mum gets in the car and her son's band is on the radio and it takes her by surprise, that is just the nicest moment for me to think about. And you make that happen. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, I can remember when it first started happening to me, when I was, back in 1986, 87, with the Inspirals, and hearing my music getting played then for the first time on local radio. People like Pete Mitchell and Tony Michaelides. I can remember my first radio plays. I remember how it made me feel in here. So it's always a pleasure to be able to do it with the new generation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Cobain Jones. Have you listened?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Some great stuff. And I think local music. I'll just say something. I've got it. A lot of people said to me, like, often when I'm in a taxi, back in driving into South Nightclub on a Saturday night, and taxi driver would be like, "Oh, new music's not like it used to be, is it? Not as good as it used to be now, is it?" And I'm like, it's better than it's ever been. Manchester's more prolific now in what's going on, and more diverse in its approach, and there's just you know, some great grime stuff happening and indie stuff and rock stuff, and it's like the city's still alive for music, you know, despite the pandemic. So it's worth keeping in touch with that new music out there. Keep digging for it, keep listening for it, and spread the word when you get to hear it, because we're still living in a great time for Manchester music, I think.
Absolutely, and you are one of the pioneers of it. So thank you so much, Clint. It means the world.
Brilliant.
Peace,
Tom.
man.
You keep up the great work, yeah. You're doing great stuff, and it's pleasure watching you. Keep busy, man.
Oh, thanks so much, man. Cheers.